I'm back in the van, and today I've come to the north of our county, not too far from the border with Lincolnshire. I'm going to a little village called Kings Cliffe, and I'm looking for something quite special. Not in the village of Kings Cliffe, a couple of miles outside the village, but to gain access to it I need to find the location of the old railway station where I'll start my walk. While we're on our way to Kings Cliffe, let's just enjoy some of our wonderful Northamptonshire villages. This is Blatherwick, quite an unusual name, but nevertheless beautiful. Isn't that just lovely? Right. And so up to the left here is the location where I will start the walk along the railway track. But before that, I'm just going to show you something else that's relevant. Right, so we're just about to come under the railway line, and off to the right is the route I'll be on. Now I have to come back to Kings Cliffe and get onto the railway line. Now on the right hand side, from around about here, is what was Kings Cliffe RAF base during the Second World War. And I'm not sure if you can see them yet, but there are a couple of flags and a memorial. So I'm at the memorial, as you just seen, and about half a mile down that way is what I've come here to try to find. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to access it via that route. So I need to go back into Kings Cliffe, find the railway bed and start walking. I think it's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles, and then I'll break off from the track. That's when I've got to start really hunting out this surprise for you all, I hope. Right, so I've now parked up in the area of the former railway station here in Kings Cliffe, and just down here I'll access the old railway bed that apparently the villagers have spent a lot of time working on. Right, just over the top here, and then down there. So, this is the old railway line, that way up to the station, and this way to Peterborough. The line actually ran from Peterborough to Market Harborough and then on to Rugby, and was closed in around about 1966, as were so many stations at that time, but we won't go into that. Right, so my task is to go along here for about 1.5 miles and then try to find this thing that I'm looking for. Right, so I'm now just crossing the railway bridge that I went under on my way up to the memorial. And that's Kings Cliffe village there. Lovely today, isn't it? And I went up that road just past that house and turned right, and then carried on up there towards the memorial. Well, I certainly picked a good day for it. Making some progress. Like I said, it's about 1.5 miles along this, what was the old railway track. Well, I highly recommend this just for the walk. It's actually beautiful along here. Just me and nature. Haven't seen a soul yet. I thought this was actually a popular walk, and it does look as if it does get used quite a bit. But on this beautiful day, I'm lucky. It's just me. The banks fall away at each side, so this was a raised part of the track. And it won't be long before I'm at the bottom end of the Kings Cliffe RAF base. And then I need to carry on all the way along the bottom of the base, past where the old runways used to be, and then take a left. And then hopefully I'm going to get the drone up, although RAF Wittering, which I don't believe is now a fighter station, is not too far away. So I may well get a warning on the drone that I can't take off. The beauty of some of the drones, particularly the DJI Mavic Mini and others, is they have lots of safety devices built into them. For example, if you take off and you get into trouble with it, there is a button you can press and it will return to home. And they do some amazing photography, as you will have seen from some of my previous videos. The Osmo Action that I'm filming this on now is also DJI, and this little camera you can see here, the Osmo Pocket here, has more or less the same camera on it, but is on the front of the drone. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we can get it out, or get it up, I should say. Good thing about being in here amongst all the trees is it's keeping it pretty cool. I know they forecast about 26 degrees today, and I'm pretty sure it was when I started the walk. Right, stony ground. Don't want to injure your ankle when you're out here on your own. So I better choose my steps carefully. And it's easily done. I did fracture my femur once running down the Penny Fan many years ago, where I turned on a stone. Anyway, just where you would expect to find a Wix bag. So the railway path comes out into an open field, but I have to keep the railway track on my left hand side until the wooded part of this railway track ends and it comes out into what is an open field, and then I do a left and start the hunt for this unusual thing that I'd like to see, and I'm sure by now most of you do too. Right, so I'm coming back into this treed area, and here's the railway line. So if I come through here, I need to keep the railway line on my right hand side. for as far as I can, or even get back into, because I'm pretty sure on Google Earth I could see that you could actually walk on the in the railway bed, if you like, a bit further along here. So I've now come out into this open area, and up there somewhere where it levels off would be the runways, but I really need to keep this on my right hand side. Ooh, it's a scorcher. Not complaining though. Oh, I think that pheasant was as surprised as I was. Right, another bridge. Now, do I carry on up here? Or do I go back to the other side of the track? Another old railway tunnel, bridge I should say. Right, as long as I keep the old bed either on my left hand side or right hand side, I'll be okay. Now, can I do that? Oh, here we are. Right, if I can find this track that I'm looking for, I'll get the drone up and see if it's permitted to fly it. I'm hoping it is, because it'll help me locate this. This thing is not particularly large, but as I said, it is special. Right, I've managed to get back onto the old railway track bed, and I now apparently keep going, and I'll come to a little woodland that this track will pass through, and at the end of that woodland, bingo, there should be a left-hand turn. Right, back down to the track bed. It looks as if there's some work being done here. Now, do I carry on along the top? Or do I go along the track bed? I'm looking for a track, as I said. I have been for ages, along that breaks off to the left-hand side. Oh, this is hot work. I am absolutely roasting. But I won't mind too much if I actually find what I'm looking for. I need a track that goes off to the left, and I seem to have been looking for that for a long time. Anyway, I better concentrate so I don't fall over, because I'm actually out in the middle of nowhere. Finally I found the track I've been looking for. Now, I've checked and I can't put the drone up, so I'm going to have to continue looking on foot. Right, I was kind of taken by surprise, because these are all brand new and didn't show on any of my research, but the good news is I think I've found it. That's been a longer walk than I expected to get around to here, but the good thing is that I've actually found it, and there it is. Now, this here is the remains of a Second World War hangar, and I am there, and here we are. Major Glenn Miller conducted his orchestra for its last airfield hangar concert, Kings Cliffe, USAF Station 367, 3rd of October 2044. At this point, I think I had a bit of sunstroke. Of course, it was 1944. Shortly after that last concert by Glenn Miller and his orchestra, he boarded a plane in Bedfordshire to fly to Paris, and was never seen again. And it's a mystery to this day.